What's up, YouTube? You're Inside the Edge, and I'm back with another video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today I'm going to talk about the Celtics. I know the season hasn't wrapped up yet, but it's looking like it is becoming a wrap for the Celtics. The Miami Heat is pretty much have control over this series. They're up 3-0, and I think the Celtics is possibly on the verge of getting swept. So many of us didn't think that this is how the Celtics season would end. They pretty much played terrific basketball throughout the season. Jason Tatum with his 50-point performance against Philadelphia, that was amazing. But things took a huge turn in this Miami series, and pretty much, looking at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, looking at their struggles, one thing that I will pull from this series is what I'm seeing is I think the Celtics needs a floor general point guard, and I think Payton is the guy for this team. I think Payton should get a bigger role at the guard position because I think the way his game is, I think he can penetrate, create space. And I think that's something that the Celtics need. When you're looking at Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're a great duo. They play really well together. They're a really good yin and yang. But I think sometimes in late game situations, I think Jaylen Brown, sometimes he forces and tries to do too much sometimes. And sometimes it's hard to really, when you're a really gifted, talented player, sometimes it's hard to really pass up shots or, to be passive because, you want to take the big shots. And I think with Jason Tatum, it's kind of the same thing. Sometimes when he's telegraphing a lot of the times where he wants to score the ball, but sometimes he wants to make the right play. Sometimes he wants to be like that playmaker. And I think with Payton being on the floor, him being a point guard, I think he can really, elevate this offense and balance out this team. Derek White, he's a good guard, but he's not a floor general. Marcus Smart, there are times where, he can play very well and get players involved, but he's not a natural point guard. Payton, he's a guard that, he's a guy that you can rely on where he's not going to turn the ball over. He can work within the pick and roll. He's an excellent shooter. He takes the right shots. He makes the right plays. And throughout his career, it seems like he's getting better and better and better. Even recently, about a month ago, he recently just dropped a triple-double out of nowhere. And I'm like, this guy has the talent. And I think he needs to have a bigger role heading into next season. So if Joe Mazzulla, if he's going to be available next season, I think he should really consider Payton being in a bigger role on the Celtics offense. Like I mentioned, he can contribute to so much. He's an excellent, like I mentioned, like his shooting is excellent, guys. He's an excellent three-point shooter. The way he can penetrate to the rim, he can create space. And I think a lot of it could be a really big mismatch problem for the opponents having to guard him because he is a miniature guard at 6'1", but he can still drive to the lane. And if you give him space, he can knock down an open three. So, he's a guy that you really have to stay on. And even defensively, guys, even though he's at 6'1", he still plays hard on defense. And he fits this Celtics culture. And I just don't know why even Celtics fans don't really talk about him as much. Or, when we think of what's going on with the Celtics, Celtics fans only blame Jaylen Brown or they blame Jason Tatum, or the Celtics fans will just say, hey, we don't have a center. But personally, in my opinion, and again, guys, I'm not a Celtics expert, but as far as what I've been seeing in the playoffs, looking at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown struggling, I think the Celtics need a pure point guard. Someone to facilitate, someone to create ball movement, because the Celtics team, they're very talented, a lot of shooters, but I think spacing on the floor is a problem. It's a big problem, and I think Payton could be the solution. And I think he can really elevate this team given the opportunity. I think he's ready to go. I don't think he needs to develop at the point guard position. I think he's ready, guys. And I think the Celtics, the organization has to really consider, making some moves. And I think that he should get more of that starting position, guys, or at least, a bigger role as far as at the guard position because of what he can do offensively and how much he can help the Celtics team. But, again, guys, this guy is a natural talent. I seen about it. I believe it was last summer. He went to a pro-am, and this guy scored 90 points. this guy scored 90 points. This guy Payton, he's an unbelievable shooter. He can score pretty much anywhere on the field. And even looking at his percentages, coming into his rookie year, he shot 41 1 point from the 3-point range, and then his second season he shot 41%, and this season he shot 36% from three. I mean, so his 3-point shooting is spectacular. And again, guys, given the minutes, I think he's just going to get better and better and better. And to be honest, guy, I think Payton is the future point guard for the Boston Celtics. Maybe now, I understand that Derek White is ahead of him. Brogdon, he's ahead of him. Marcus Smart. But I think given the opportunity, I think Payton will be the future point guard for the Celtics. He has everything you want in a point guard. This guy he plays unselfish and he makes the right plays. And I think the Celtics should really consider, giving him a bigger role heading into next season, because it will pretty much elevate this offense as far as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. With Williams, I can see the pick and roll action happening with Richardson. This is a guard that can pretty much, be a floor general that can shoot the ball. He's a 3-point specialist that can penetrate and create space, and I think that is what the Celtics need, and that's pretty much their system. So I want to hear what you guys think about Payton, guys. He did have a really good performance against the Heat. Even though he only played 12 minutes, he put up 12 points. He shot 5 for 8 from the field. He shot 1 for 2 from 3-point range, and he had 5 assists. You can call it garbage time, but I think he raised a little bit of eyebrows for Celtics fans, and I think, moving forward, I think the Celtics, may look into Payton and try to get him into this offense and try to get him a bigger role heading into next season. But for Celtics fans, I want to hear how you guys feel about Payton, and how do you guys feel about him, possibly being a future starting point guard, or do you see him being this, the backup point guard? For you Celtics fans, I want to hear your guys' opinion on how you guys feel about Payton and his steps moving forward with the Celtics. But with that being said, guys, be sure to subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Peace.